Hello there, I am Blunty. Now, recently I've been trying to push into the creative side of camera use a little bit more often, working on the photography again, taking a bit more care of how I shoot things. I used to do a lot of camera stuff on the channel, and then camera releases got a bit boring for a while there, so I did more and more video game related stuff and PC gaming and things like that. And now that cameras are starting to get exciting, there are interesting things going on. There's massive competition going on in full frame mirrorless cameras right now, and the Canon and Nikon, of the big boys, have both released their version, and Panasonic's got a new one out, which a lot of people are calling sort of the full frame version of this, which is the GH5, and the predecessor to this GH4, are just monsters when it comes to being incredibly good tools for creative use, and vloggers and YouTubers and independent movie makers and of all kind. These have been just a godsend, and now that leap forward into full frame being more and more practical, more and more affordable for that kind of stuff is starting to happen. So it's very exciting again, and I'm starting to pay more attention to the camera world. And part of that is I've bought a few new lenses, sort of cheapo lenses, just for interesting sort of effects recently. And this weekend I'm going to be shooting IEM, Intel Extreme Masters, big esports thing. I'm going there. I'm going to do some sponsored stuff for Lenovo. I'm going to do some sponsored stuff for Intel. So keep your eye open for that. And by the way, if you're not following me on Twitter yet, you should probably pop a follow there, because as part of that Intel sponsorship thing where I've been making a couple of videos for them, they're also going to get me to promote some sort of competition they're running. They haven't told me what it is yet, but I mean, name one current Intel product that isn't worth getting for free through a competition. They're all pretty nice. And when I'm filming at IEM this weekend, I wanted to push outside my usual comfort zone, my usual standards of my pair of primes, the very, very wide angle prime and the sort of everything prime, which is the 12 to 35, and the 7 to 18 Lumix lenses, which are both amazing. But between these two lenses, you've got everything you could possibly want to do, except for sort of telephoto stuff if you're doing sports or shooting birds and things like that. Basically, between these two lenses, anything any YouTuber has to do, regardless of your genre of content, is basically covered by these two lenses. It's well worth investing in if you do shoot on the Micro Four Thirds system. But as part of my push to get more excited about photography and videography, again, I'm going to be shooting flat, so I'm going to be color grading after the fact, and I've got some new manual lenses I'm going to shoot with instead of the zooms, and one of them leads me into the title of the video. Sorry to make you wait for that. But it turns out that this lens here, which I may or may not make a video on because it's not a particularly new lens, and there's lots and lots of reviews about this on YouTube already, but this is kind of a clone of the classic fantastic plastic Canon 50mm lens. This is a Yongnuo 50mm, what is it, f1.8. F1.8. I was also looking at 2.8 lens, but this lens here lends itself to replicating the look of the latest Game of Thrones episode, the Battle of Winterfell. Everyone's really excited about it. No spoilers, of course, but if you've seen it, you might know what I'm talking about. There is a very specific look to that episode that this lens will actually help me replicate quite realistically. So this is a Canon mount lens. So to get it onto my GH5, I'm going to be using this, which is a speed booster. If you want to know all about this, this is one I've already done a review on. I'll link it in below and at the end of the video probably, and things like that. So well worth looking at, actually, because it's surprisingly inexpensive for the kind of quality and performance you get out of a speed booster, because the speed boosters can get very, 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 very expensive. This one, bloody bargain for the performance. I normally use it on this camera here because I adapt a Canon lens to the old Lumix G8. I've got sitting up there on the Commlite, going to the computer to record this. So there we go. The Yongnuo Fantastic Plastic Nifty 50 on the speed booster onto the GH5. And in order to replicate the specific cinematic look that the latest episode of Game of Thrones have, we have to do one thing to the front element of this lens. And let's put the lens cap on. That's right. I made you sit through this whole video for that one joke about that particular episode being extremely dark and difficult to see. The entirety of this video was that. Also, a bit of cross promotion for the Intel stuff and at the IEM thing, I suppose. But thumb me down if you must, but I thought it was worth the joke. It was dark, you see, the lens cap. No? I thought it was funny.